Well, hello, everyone, and welcome back to Conversations with Mom, Growing Up Undiagnosed AuDHD. I'm Shannon Rose Scott, and this is my mom.
Laura Scott.
So, today we thought it might be really helpful, actually, to talk about the autistic meltdown and what that's been like for us. And I want to preface that by saying that this is just my experience, my mom's experience. This may not reflect everybody's experience because everyone has a different experience of autism, ADHD, ADHD. So this is just my experience and my mom's experience. So first off, I guess it might be helpful even before getting into like what it was like for you, even just what is a meltdown? So like what is the autistic meltdown? And maybe I'll even though it would be from your perspective, like just if you had to just define it, what is it?
Well, I've been doing a bit of reading about it too, so that's going to probably sway my understanding of it because I didn't understand it when you were little. A meltdown in my mind when before you were diagnosed was just out of control behavior, flipping out like a panic attack, maybe kind of thing, where you just were out of control and screaming and upset. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, so like from what I guess I also saw in other people and then what I can remember, I guess, of my own experiences, the meltdown we're talking about here is when it gets to the point where the person is maybe screaming, shouting, but more like kind of like a scream, a cry scream, uh, and maybe there's move movement like perhaps hitting oneself, perhaps a lot of rocking or swing, perhaps a lot of spinning,
Mhm.
uh, movement like that. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about the meltdown. What that means. It's like the scream. It's the extreme point of it. And so so just so that people have a reference what we're talking about here.
Mhm.
And you mentioned, that it might have looked like a panic attack. And in our last conversation, we talked about that, how we used to be told that these autistic meltdowns were panic attacks. So just to give people, that reference where we're coming from.
Mhm.
So now let's, talk about a little more about what it was like for you, not knowing what it was. Um, when you think back, what did the meltdowns look like? Even maybe in more
More,
description, if you'd
more deep.
like.
Sure.
What did you think was happening?
Yeah. Well, I had been told too by professionals in the medical field that all you wanted was attention, that it was just an attention seeking thing. And when you'd be angry, like screaming and appeared to be angry and out of control, they said, oh, she just wants attention. Just walk away from her. And, or make her stop. Like there were times when you would just drop to the ground, just to the floor and moan and help me. And, it seemed that anything I would say was the wrong thing to say because again, I didn't know exactly what you needed at that time and should have had. And, there were times when you would, like start banging your chest with your fist. There were times when you'd scratch your neck. Like there was one time you had to wear a scarf because you had so many scratches on your neck. Um, you would bang your fists against the wall and be moaning and crying and honestly, I didn't know what to do with you at the times. I You would tell me sometimes, don't leave me. Sometimes you'd tell me, go away. Like you didn't know what you needed either at those early times, and then you'd just be so depleted afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you like take care of yourself? Because it would have been really hard on you. And sorry, these are a few questions at once. We should let people know that this was happening not when I was a child. These weren't happening as a child. So these were happening later in adolescence and adulthood.
Yeah.
So it was, which would make it more confusing too.
Mm.
And we should maybe say like sometimes they would last like hours.
Yeah. Yeah, they would. They would. Um, I prayed a lot. And Dad and I had each other. Like, if I had been a single mom, it would have been really, really hard. But Dad and I had each other, and we would just, sometimes we'd hear you screaming upstairs, and our stomach would just sink, and you'd think, oh, what are we going to do now? But, but you were always so apologetic afterwards and so remorseful. And we knew that it wasn't something that you wanted to happen at all. We just had to kind of, all of us live through it at the time. And yes, it didn't happen when you were wee little. I don't even remember, like, it's been compared to temper tantrums, and they're not temper tantrums. They're totally different. And we can get into that later. But you never had temper tantrums as a little kid. You would maybe cry more than be angry when you were wee little. But then when you got into the teen years, and you were out and about more with your friends, maybe, um, more things happening, that's when they got more severe, if you want to use that word. Yeah.
Uh, yeah. And you're being so, um, like I know you're being so you've always been so kind to me regarding all of this. But I'm sure it'd be helpful for like other people to even hear like, yeah, just kind of what frustrated you the most, what emotions were you experiencing?
Yeah, like we were frustrated. Both Dad and I were frustrated at times because we felt, why can't Shannon act the way her siblings do, her older siblings? Like, what's going on here? Have we babied her too much because she's the youngest one in the family? And do we need to just make her do things and make her stop some of this activity, Um, there were probably times when we felt too that, oh, what have we done wrong that she's acting this way? We, took the blame on ourselves when really it was nobody's blame at all. And and sometimes we just didn't want to face it, Shannon. Sometimes we just thought, okay, it's over now. It's not going to happen again. We won't even deal with this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess we had like it's not like we weren't trying to deal with it. Like I was in therapy and like we have talked about before, first when they thought it was panic attacks, they put me on medication for it, which made it worse because I wasn't having panic attacks. Any of like the things. So like we were trying things and they just weren't working.
Yeah. 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 Like Dad and I went to a counselor one time too, a psychologist, and just said, like, how can we deal with it? This is when you were a teenager, and like, what can we do? And like he really didn't know what to do either because you weren't diagnosed properly. You were diagnosed with bipolar and borderline, and that's not what you were dealing with. And he just said, set up boundaries, don't let her talk, don't let her get angry, don't let her get talk, like set up the boundaries and walk away. And yeah.
Yeah.
So you weren't getting the appropriate help at all during those teen years. Yeah. And the drugs certainly did not do what we were hoping they would do. They made you a zombie at one point. They made you suicidal at other points. And then, they tried different drugs because these didn't work. So let's try something else. And it was just a nightmare of ups and downs and drugs not working properly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, you were the one that said, "Can I get off of these drugs because I just don't feel well on them?" And that point, the psychiatrist said, "Of course you can. Oh, of course these are going to make you feel more suicidal because that's a side effect."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, looking back now, what do you wish you had understood about the meltdowns?
I wish I'd understood that it was, I wish I'd understood what you needed during a meltdown. Because I know different times I went to hug you, and that's not supposed to be something that you do. You needed your space. Um, and I didn't understand that my facial expressions really triggered it further in a meltdown. Because I know different times you'd say, "Don't be mad at me." And yet I wasn't mad, but probably my facial expression looked like I was mad. But I wasn't. I was worried. I was concerned. I didn't know what to do. And that would make me frown. And it wasn't anger. It was just concern. So I wish I had known that this was indeed a meltdown, not a temper tantrum, not a seeking attention kind of thing. It was a meltdown where you were overwhelmed and your brain was telling you to react certain ways, and it was uncontrollable for you. And if I had known that a calm, pleasant expression during those times, and just, "I'm here for you," and just be real quiet and calm and just sit with you at times, not say a word, just sit. Yeah. Now when I hear things on YouTube from people who are sharing their experiences, and different doctors who are sharing what should be done during meltdowns and what exactly meltdowns are, it just makes me think, oh man, in the end, like years after going through all this stuff, Shannon was asking for this kind of stuff because she knew that this would work. She was asking for, just listen to me and just be with me. And had I known 10 years earlier, it would have been so much better.
You mentioned that it's afterwards, I'd always be super apologetic and stuff because it is, this is a hard thing to talk about for me because it is something that creates a lot of shame. It's not easy to know that you do this thing, this behavior, uh, and it, I guess like when you were saying you wanted to forget about it, I also want to forget about it and like just pretend like they don't happen either. And afterwards, okay, that won't happen again.
Yeah.
And to be honest, now I've gotten to a point like where they don't like happen often. And it's uh, because I've really, even before knowing that I'm ADHD, these last few years I've made so many changes and making big boundaries with how I live and interact with other people without knowing that these were ADHD accommodations. But I've been doing that, and when I do that, when I take care of myself with these accommodations that often aren't like permitted by society, but I've just been giving myself permission to have them, and because of that, it's really reduced those meltdowns.
Yeah.
So that's really important, and also for people to know that they do still happen as an adult, but they don't they don't like, it doesn't have to be a part of our like we can't, there are things we can do to reduce them.
Right. Yeah. Because before you knew about all of this, before you knew you were ADHD and you knew what a meltdown was, you'd be, I'm sure, feeling so out of control. And how do I manage that? And then it would just escalate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not knowing what it was
Yeah.
made it even more shameful than to even talk about. Um, because I also probably felt like you, that I was just kind of out of control. I'm like, why am I out of control? Why am I like this? And what's
Mhm.
wrong with me? Why can't I?
Yep. Yep.
Why? Yeah. Um, so yeah, I thought maybe I'd describe a little bit about what it feels like then on my end. And
Yeah. Okay.
um, yeah, so it's definitely not something I'm choosing to do. It's not something I like, I'm super even aware of when it's happening. So it's not like any of like the things that happen are choices. I'm not trying to be difficult when it's happening. So there might be earlier signs that I'm still learning to figure out what they are. But when I know for sure that it's coming, that it's like, or that I'm on the, like that, this is my sign. Okay, I need to get out of here. Um, I will suddenly feel in my brain like a piece of Lego. My brain just feels like a wall comes up, but it's a sensation. Like I feel I feel physically solid all of a sudden, and like, but my brain is that, and so it just feels like I can't think. Everything's stuck, and yet it almost seems like there's 1,000 thoughts happening at once, and yet I can't understand any of them. I probably feel really tight, um, and hot, and I don't know, maybe that's why I don't really know why the movements start. Like, and I don't know why the hitting and stuff happens. It's, it's maybe trying to. I don't know. I feel like I'm fending off things in this moment, and that's kind of what it feels like. The overwhelm. It's like you're trying to fend off all of the overwhelm. And if I can just be in that sensation without any more stimulation, it would it wouldn't escalate. Um, huh. I don't know if I'm doing a good job describing this. It's such a weird thing to describe.
Well, it must be a weird thing to describe.
The biggest thing, I guess, is confusion. I think I just feel very confused in that moment. I don't really know exactly how I feel. I just know I feel bad. I don't, it's not good. And perhaps it's like a mixture of emotions in that moment. It could be like sadness, anger, embarrassment, anxiety. Probably all of those come in.
Yeah.
Um, because the confusion definitely leads to those other feelings. I'll feel like embarrassed for being confused, and then I'll feel angry for being confused. And so then but there's no words, because the mind, again, this whole weird block, like it's like a little, it's all, I said it was a feeling, but it is almost like a shield comes up and it's like I can't see, I can't think, I can't move my hands very well. I've noticed that where like any fine motor like suddenly is gone. Like if I have to like hold a pencil and try to like I wouldn't be able to if I'm trying to like get the keys to get out of the house and get out. It's like suddenly I can't work the keys. It's like I can't function. Uh, so what would you, before I go into more about like some of the causes, like when I describe it like that, does any of that kind of resonate for you? Did you kind of see any of that in my face expression? Would you see it kind of?
Yeah, like you would be frantic and it was almost like you were trapped and you couldn't get away, and like a deer in the headlights almost, like uh, you'd look and I knew that you wanted to leave, but yet you just were kind of frozen at times. Yeah. But
Yeah.
that's what you did for yourself, is you left the situation, which is something that they recommend people with autism do, to get out of that situation. And you just kind of naturally did that. Dad and I used to think you were running away, um, not wanting to deal with it, because as neurotypicals, we think, well, you got to deal with it in the time. Um, but, but yeah, you would look trapped. You would look really trapped at times. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I've been learning even and how to talk about the meltdown. So like the meltdown is separate from the overwhelm. The overwhelm causes the meltdown.
Yep.
Is how I would describe it.
Yes.
And the meltdown is when it gets to the point kind of no return. And where this the scream happens. Um, and that happens again because it's just well, there's a buildup. So like I mentioned, if I'm able to get away from all stimulations, that means people, that means sounds, that means smells, that means like everything. If I can get away, remove myself, go be alone, I can, and that doesn't just mean like in a washroom in someone's house, like it needs to be a place where I can kind of moan and cry by myself without worrying about being heard even.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I can go be alone, it's okay. I can. It's not. It won't. It might not even get to that point, and if it does, it won't last long. I guess I may be getting ahead of myself because I'm about to go into like what doesn't help. So maybe I should instead go back to even like what even gets me there in the first place. Like why would I be overwhelmed in the first place?
Yeah.